With the Fallout show having come out now, and with it being very well received on 90% of the people who have watched it, it feels like, or even if not more, essentially, I want to talk about it because I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief. This show is really good. To put it simply, Fallout is based off of the game. This game franchise, the same name, and it's a unique story set in the same universe, set with the events of all the games having taken place or having taken place already. In some way or another. They don't like having canon endings, but you get the idea. Essentially, to summarize, this review is going to be talking about a mixture of spoiler-free stuff without being too explicit, and then the later half will be more spoiler-specific, and nothing that is going to determine the last episode specifically. I've seen all 8 episodes, but I want to let you guys kind of experience the 8th episode without me talking about it. To start, the spoiler-free section, which, again, first of all, if you want to go in completely unspoiled, with me talking somewhat vaguely anyway, stop this video, go watch it, come back. I won't be offended. But regardless, to kind of just summarize the beginning episode, I'll talk about the beginning episode because there's not too much. Beginning episode kind of introduces us to the 3 main characters we're going to be meeting. That being the Ghoul, Maximus, and Lucy. Lucy being a Vault Dweller, the Ghoul being a Ghoul, and Maximus being a member of the Brotherhood of Steel. The story takes place in 2296, which is set 8 years after the events of Fallout New Vegas. Meaning this is the latest in the time we've ever seen the Fallout universe. Ever. The earliest entry in the games is obviously, I believe, Fallout 76, then Fallout 1, 2, Tactics, 3, New Vegas, and 4. I believe that's the timeline, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe 4, then New Vegas. I can't remember. Regardless, it's the farthest in time we've ever seen it. And I will be talking about a certain thing in episode 7. You know what I'm talking about. That'll be in the spoiler section. But yeah, overall, I think the show is very solid. There's a couple of gripes I have, but I think if I'm going to give it a number rating, if that's what you're really here for, I give it a solid 8 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10. It's tied with Sonic for me, where it's got so much good and so much detail in there that like kind of hits the fans really well and is able to be watched by non-fans and still be enjoyable. I think it's very, very solid. It has a few things I didn't like, a few plot holes / things that weren't explained that I hope they explain in season 2, which is confirmed. But other than that, very solid. Overall, first episode, I think if I had to rate each episode 1's very slow and really the only thing kind of detracts from, even if you're setting up stuff, so I'll give it some slack. Probably like a 6, just because it is setting up a lot. And then from there, you're kind of sitting in like the 7s and 8s. Episode 8 specifically is like a 9 or a 10, because that episode is really good. Episode 7 has a couple of problems with it, but now they since have been clarified, I'm going to give it a solid 8. So episode 6, 8, episode 5. I'm going to give it a 6. Kind of, if I remember correctly, if I remember what episode that is. I think it's episode 4 or 5. No, it might be 5 that's the good one. That's the thing I like. Episode 5 is a 9, or if not 5, it's 4. And if it's episode 4 is the one I'm not thinking of, then I'll give it about a 6. I'd say on average, each episode is probably hitting like 6, 7, 8 in that sort of range. With an outlier here or there. Overall, the detail and the props and little callbacks to games and stuff like that are great. The power armor, I think, is amazing. They've actually made it look very practical. I'm pretty sure a lot of the effects are practical, with very obvious exceptions being like certain monsters. A lot of the practical stuff in flight, like because power armor has a jetpack built in. It's a bit weird, and it's not quite like how the games are, but regardless, it's there. That being said, again, all of the props, gotta give the team who work on the props end a lot of credit. The power armor looks amazing. The I guess costume designers too, I guess, fall in that category as well. The vault suits look amazing. The outfits for the ghoul and all the other wastelanders look great. The team who did makeup on all the ghouls and stuff like that did great. Again, props team, all of the weapons look very, very similar, if not ripped from the game. They're so well done. The Pip-Boy is probably the most beautiful thing ever. This beautiful thing ever, because it's like very ever so slightly modified version of the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy, and I think it looks amazing. And again, the creatures, some of the very few creatures we got to see a Gulper. I'm not going to consider that a spoiler because it's a creature you see. You'll find out what happens you'll know when it's coming. We saw ghouls, obviously the main character being a non-feral ghoul. We do see ferals. They kind of toy with a couple of the chems in the show. I think we do deal with stim packs. Again, all of the weapons seem very nice. Are like very, very nice. They're all they're a mixture of like the sort of pipe junk weapons that we see, but also some real world weapons. The assault rifle from Fallout 4 that looks like an abomination is there. But I'd say as a whole, the show has a lot going for it. Bethesda and the team who worked on it did a lot of good trying to keep the show faithful to its original games, as well as try to keep the lore intact without damaging anything, as well as making sure everything looked and felt like a Fallout show. We also have to see the origin of a lot of different lore questions. We did find out one lore question that implies we had one lore question answered, which essentially is an implication that we all thought, but I'm not going to go into that because that's episode 8, not talking about it. If you do want to hear more about it, watch Oxhorn's video, because Oxford has a couple videos in the Fallout show. Definitely recommend those if you want to watch them. He's a much better creator than me and much more articulated than me, and also he typically writes scripts, so these are all off the cuff. Forgive me if I miss a few things or if I get things wrong or whatever. But I think I'm going to leave the spoiler section there. I actually recorded a whole lot more footage than what was intended. I like recording a lot of footage in bulk. Can you tell that this video is being recorded in 2 sections? The voiceover in one section and then the gameplay in another. Yeah, but to go into spoilers, so again, this is your warning. Turn back now. The rest of this is going to be very spoilery. Not super spoilery, but spoilery enough that I consider spoiler enough that I want to give you the warning. So if you are not interested in hearing about spoilers, turn back, go watch the show, and then come on back and leave your thoughts. Or if you've already seen the show, leave your thoughts and just continue watching. I don't know, do whatever you want. I'm not your mother. Some things I want to talk about that are a little bit more gripe related first. I'm going to get some of the negative out of the way. Number 1, and it has been clarified, so obviously this is with the context of it having been clarified. In episode 7, we see a timeline, and I can't remember the exact wording of it. It's the history of the NCR, or the New California Republic, which if you're a Fallout fan, you know, especially if you played New Vegas, they're a huge part of that story. At the very end, it says in 2277, it was the fall of Shady Sands, and then during presumably the events of Fallout New Vegas and the show, Shady Sands was destroyed. We now know that it was destroyed very shortly after the events of Fallout New Vegas, thanks to Todd Howard himself, but I still think the 2277 thing doesn't add up when in 8 years or like 6 years or so, Fallout New Vegas happens. And I think if Fallout New Vegas were to happen, and we had the first Battle of Hoover Dam in 2277, it would make no sense for the NCR to be in Vegas and then want to come back to, and then not to want to try and take their capital. So hopefully we get clarification or something related to that in Season 2. I really hope so. That's the biggest question I had is what's going on there. Obviously the other one is something that happens in episode 8. I'll talk about that. The overall thing I found kind of off-putting was the story of in the vault specifically, back with Lucy's brother. I found it to be kind of... I understand that's it kind of all tied in, but it felt very disconnected whenever we cut to it. I felt like they should have dedicated an episode or so to it, rather than trying to jump between the two perspectives. I understand what they wanted to do. I just felt like every time we went back to the vault, it was like, oh, we're back in the vault. And then with the crew, with Lucy and Maximus, oh, now they're in a vault. I think keeping them a little bit more condensed in an episode is a little bit better than trying to split up multiple ongoing storyline in multiple episodes. To a point, obviously. So jumping around is good because it kind of gives you stories, especially in the first episode, kind of introducing you to the ghoul, introducing you to Lucy, introducing you to Maximus. It's kind of important to do that. But doing it consistently when you have multiple stories going on kind of messes things up. Obviously, at one point, Maximus, who is a squire, obviously ends up in power armor due to his knight being unreliable. And he ends up getting assigned a new squire. Said squire then takes the thing that they've been trying to hunt, the MacGuffin, essentially, and brings it and is basically going around with it. And you kind of jump back to him every so often. And I think it's kind of funny because those bits are usually funny because Thaddeus is his name, is reasonably funny and he's good. The MacGuffin being an Enclave member, I thought it was Vault Tech, but no, he's actually an Enclave, is very interesting, and what he has, why he's important is in episode 8. You'll see that, and I do like that we actually got not too many notable actors that are all very kind of unknown in sort of the show. Like the only one that really had any sort of screen presence in terms of past things that I know them from in terms of modern day is Ella Purnell, who plays Lucy. She's the voice of Jinx in Arcane, and even then I don't watch Arcane, or haven't watched Arcane. I want to. I've heard it's good. I might watch it. I think it's based on League of Legends, right? I don't know. Whichever. Regardless, everyone in the show, all the acting is spot on. There's a couple of MCU-ish schlocky dialogue that's like, why? I think it's in episode 6 in the vault with Maximus and Lucy. That's just very... what? But in episode 5, I think it's 5. It's either 4 or 5. I'm trying to remember what the episode is. In episode 4 or 5, there is a Mr. Handy, voiced by Matt Berry, who I'm pretty sure did some of the other Mr. Handy stuff in the past games. I know he's been in Fallout before. And he has some dialogue from that Mr. Handy, whose name is Snip Snip. That is absolutely hilarious, and he stole that episode, like, easily. And he is hilarious, and I think the Mr. Handy was by far the best part of that episode was the Mr. Handy. Again, all of the creatures and automatons we run into. We see an Assaultron at one point. The turret was very, very good. Everything they did in the show was great. Hell, there's even a dog to kind of be the stand-in for dog meat. I think it's CX404, 401. Adorable little dog, and whoever trained that dog to be a dog actor, I really hope you got really well paid, because that dog did a great job. Very, very good boy. Or girl. I couldn't tell. I don't think it was very stated what gender the dog was. Even then, it's a dog. They're a good puppy. It's a good puppy. But I guess more or less to talk about it more specifically is there's a couple of things that I had a problem with, which is New Vegas felt like, up until we got more interviews post the show being released, felt very shafted. We got a couple shots of New Vegas. There's one at the end of episode 8, which seems like that's where we're going next. We got some characters from got some more faces to characters we've never seen before. The CEO of Big Empty, or Big Mountain, Repcon. We have a face to Vault Tech, so that's good, because Vault Tech is touched on. You'll understand more if you watch. And then obviously we got to see Mr. Robert House himself, Mr. House, Mr. Robco, and whoever's playing Mr. House, very well done. You played his very cynical looking demeanor very well. And I do hope we get to see him in the season 2 again, because we see New Vegas. The music, don't care. If you've played a Fallout game, you know what that music is like. They nailed it to a T. It is beautiful. Everything about the music is great. I think they did such an amazing job with it. I think everything about the music is awesome, and they did not miss. They got set. I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire from the Fallout 3 soundtrack. The only thing we really didn't get were some of the iconic ones, like Big Iron, like the more meme-based ones, like Big Iron. But every single song choice in this show was perfect. Everything about the show is great. Again, there's gripes here and there, but overall, this show is good. If you have Amazon Prime and you're looking for a new show to watch Fallout. Even if you're not a fan of the games, give it a shot. You may actually like it. Because it does have this entry level of like, here's what Fallout's about. Here's what Fallout is. Let's have some fun. Literally, we're looking at Fallout from the outside in. Fallout across all the titles had 5 million players in a single day. Fallout 76 had a 1 million player count in a single day on all platforms. That's insane to show what a show can do when it tries to stay faithful to its source material and also tries to be tries to do fan service in the best way possible. Looking at you, Halo show. Look at the mistake that you are, the Halo show. I'm sorry, but you suck. But you get the idea. It's great. Everything about this show is great. Everything about what they did for the writing. Again, the writing could be... The script specifically could have used this bit of changes with the schlocky dialogue, but it's fine. Other than that, again, this show is great. I absolutely loved it. I really, really think if you are looking for a new show to watch Fallout. It's really good. But yeah, I have nothing really much else to say. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want me to do more review-based content, talk about other things, I'll be having a review on Hazbin Hotel, coming out sometime next month or so, hopefully, maybe. Also, yeah, that's really about it. I don't like doing scripted stuff, because when I get scripted stuff, I get a little burnt out, so these are all more or less off the cuff, as you've experienced. But if you are interested in seeing more review-based content, I will actually leave a playlist for all the past review-based stuff that I've done. I did a Doctor Who one, I did a Five Nights at Freddy's one, I think that's it, actually. I think those are the only 2 I did. I want to do more review-based stuff. I'm just trying to keep it in the realm of gaming, more or less, when it comes to like gaming adaptations. But yeah, that being said, thank you guys for watching. I upload every single day on a variety of different topics. If you want to see more like this, be sure to subscribe, click the bell to submit videos. And yeah, expect a video at some point on some of the new stuff in Call of Duty, Destiny 2. I'm going to be constantly trying to upload new stuff whenever it comes out, especially with Destiny 2 The Final Shape coming out soon, with Call of Duty Season 4, Call of Duty Season 3 Reloaded, Season 4, inevitably the reveal for Call of Duty 2024. Obviously, I have plans of doing other series. I have literally this coming weekend, we're going to be starting Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. If you're new here, I have a second channel that I have with one of my friends. We should be having more series going up on there soon. We've been trying to get stuff to upload, but we've all been very busy. I do Fortnite stuff. I do a lot of different things. And yeah, that being said, hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next video or live stream, whatever I decide to make. Have a good day, buddy. Stay safe.